My name's Dee, and I am not a Taoist. I wanted to talk today about attributes. I think all of us, no matter what our religion or lack of religion, I think all people want to have good attributes. We want to say of ourselves that we are good people. I know people who revel in their bad deeds, people who are proud of their bad boy attitude or their bad girl attitude. I understand their playful attitude, but I think most of us want to say, well, I'm a good person and I would do the right thing. I would do something good in the proper situation, even if no one was watching. And there are attributes that we want to apply to our lives. I'm a faithful person. I'm an honest person. Even more specifically, I'm a non-drinker. I'm a non-smoker. But I've been thinking lately about the reasons behind these declarations. I'll give you an example. Throughout my life, I proudly told people, I'm a non-smoker. I don't smoke. Don't think I ever will. I won't smoke. But what I don't say is that I personally find smoking repulsive. When I smell it in public, it gags me. I don't like the smell. I respect other people's choice to smoke if that's what they want to do, but I don't want to. It doesn't appeal to me. I had a neighbor who I ran into on business one day in another city, and he was sitting in a park smoking a cigarette. And when I approached him, he wept. He said, "Oh, I feel so terrible that you've caught me like this." And I told him, I don't judge you. You don't need to feel bad that I've caught you smoking a cigarette. I'm not here to judge you, and I don't judge you in any way. But he said, that's not the point. He said, I don't want to be a smoker. I don't want to smoke cigarettes. And to have a friend and a neighbor find me smoking cigarettes, it goes against who I want to be. So the person like me who proudly proclaims, I'm not a smoker, has accomplished nothing. The person who longs to smoke, finds the idea of smoking delicious, but doesn't smoke, has accomplished something. I'll give you a more specific example. I could say to you, I'm faithful to my wife, and I am, and I could feel very proud of that. I have a friend years ago who studied acting and had the opportunity to act and was in a movie where he had a prominent role. And shortly after his success in this movie, he had trouble in his marriage. And when I spoke with him, he said, the trouble is what you imagine it would be. It's women. And I didn't know what to say, and I was about to, frankly, say, this is none of my business. But he said, don't judge me. He said, you don't know what it's like to have women throw themselves at you. He says, I'm very popular now among women who want to be in the acting business. And he said, it's a struggle because I went from being a man who was invisible to women to a man who is constantly faced with the outright proposal of infidelity. And I thought about that. I brag that I'm faithful to my wife. But who is seeking me out for infidelity? Who wants to be my secret lover? It's not a problem for me. It's not like I am daily making that choice. No, not you, not you, and not you. I don't have that problem even a little bit. So when I say I'm faithful to my wife, I'm saying something that is unproven and untested. The person who is tempted by someone, man or woman, who says, be with me secretly, against the covenants you've made with a spouse, and remains true to their spouse, they've done something. They can say, I am true to my spouse because it's been demonstrated. They've been tried and succeeded. And so when we judge somebody who's failed in that arena, we have no grounds to judge them just because we declare that we are faithful to our spouse. We have never been tested in the same way. So that it's one of the reasons why you shouldn't judge other people if you haven't been there, most people who have been there, who have experienced that temptation and succeeded or failed, will have a lot of compassion for somebody who can come along and say, I faced this temptation in my life. So here's the one I'm going to propose to you today. I am frugal. And that's true about me. And it's something I was thinking about it was a week ago. And that's why I made this recording. I am frugal. I've said that about myself all my life, proudly. I am frugal. I don't have a lot of fancy things. I don't have a lot of possessions. My father before me was frugal. My grandparents were frugal. And as the poet said, the more I say the word, the less meaning it has. Now, it's interesting to me. I just thought, my grandfather in his 60s purchased a large trailer house because he wanted to take my grandmother on trips and they would stay in the trailer house. And it confused my father. It almost upset him. Why has my father, who has been frugal all his life and taught me to be frugal, suddenly done this extravagant thing and purchased this extravagant vehicle for his own entertainment? And that got me thinking about, when I say I am frugal, what do I really mean? I can judge a rich man. Look at his clothing. He's definitely not frugal. Look at the automobile he drives. Look at his home. Look at his jewelry. Look at his toys. He's not frugal. And he's going to learn one day. I pose godlike judgment on him. He will learn one day that his money won't buy him happiness, as if I know. And so when I was thinking about all this, what's the real reason I'm frugal? Is it because I have noble characteristics and I have chosen nobility? No, the truth is, I'm frugal because a lot of fancy things are out of my reach. I can't afford them. I don't have the money to own a lot of fancy things. That's the first reason. That's the real reason why I don't own fancy possessions. I can't afford them. The money's not there. I'll give you an example. I have always said that I won't buy a new car because it's wiser to buy a used car. Because what do they say? When you buy a new car and drive it off the showroom floor, it loses X amount of its value the moment you drive it onto the street. And that's why it's wiser to buy a used car. Might be true. I've said that and I've heard other people say it my whole life. If you get into any setting, at the office, at school, among friends, and make that statement, people have heard it 1,000 times and they will nod and agree at how wise that is. That's true. That's why you shouldn't buy a car off the showroom floor. Is that the real reason that I have never bought a car off the showroom floor? Or is it because I can't afford to? When I need to buy an automobile, I'm not in the financial position to go shopping at the car dealership. I'm in a financial position to look for used cars. That's the truth. And yet, it's not fun to say that. It's not satisfying to say, I don't have fancy jewelry because I just can't afford it, or I don't have nice clothes because I really can't afford them, or I drive a used car because that's all I can afford. It sounds a lot better, and it feels a lot better to say, I'm a frugal person. My suggestion, and the reason I'm discussing this, is that if we are going to seek noble attributions, noble character attributes, we should really face the truth about those attributes. Why are we frugal? Why are we faithful? Why are we healthy? Why do we do a lot? Everything we do. Why do we feel that we're good, honest, and faithful? Is it because we're noble? Is it because we're spiritual? Is it because we've sought a higher path? Or are there real reasons that have intervened and shaped and directed our lives?